Coach, how's your practice getting back after the week?
It was disgusting, to be frankly honest.
Yeah.
Check the weather. It says it might rain, maybe, and it just absolutely drizzled on us just constantly the entire freaking practice. So, yeah, it was garbage. The kids were great. Head coach just ticked off because he's freaking getting rained on the whole time. But it was good for us. You know, there's a great chance that you can go to Florida Atlantic, you go to Temple. There's probably going to be some weather in those situations. Every year I've ever done it, there's always one game where you got to go handle those circumstances. And, you know, in our history here together with us, we've had one game. We didn't handle that very well. We handled the other ones decently enough.
Any rust today with the week off?
Yeah, I would say that would be true, but I would say more than anything, it was just the weather, just the wet balls and having to snap them and catch them and throw them and punt them and kick them, all the things you got to do in football. Plus just having the long break. Defense, you know, had their way with us pretty much today.
We just got done talking to Nick Fortune. What have you seen from him? How has he continued to grow as a player?
Just maturity, you know, when you just get here like he did so late last year. Now he just is a real leader for us. He's always been a really good young man. He's always had his head on correctly. He just, you know, you can always do a better job teaching when you know the subject matter. He knows the subject matter. He knows what our culture really is here, so he can really teach it now. Instead of last year, he was really bragging about it because he got to be, you know, embraced in it. He really loved how he was treated, taken care of, and now he's the one doing the teaching and doing the embracing and helping, you know, young guys like Double D and those kind of things.
You're looking for a new starter in that room somewhere. Who's kind of stood out or caught your eye so far?
You know, it's the same guys as last year that are still on the scene as far as that. You know, obviously we lost Corey, so someone's got to replace him, to your question. I would say Zay Frazier and DeJuan Griffin are guys that you would naturally, because they were up there last year, but Xavier Spencer has been doing really well, and Old Dangerfield, Double D, he's come in here and done really well. Alpha has made plays, you know, we haven't gone live, you know. It's always thud, it's always tag. So you do the best you can in your one-on-one evals, and you do your, you know, Skelly and all that kind of stuff to make great evaluations. But I'm sure Nick Graham will make a great choice on who that corner is going to be, and those guys will play hard as they always do out there.
It seems like relative to that position, you have a lot of guys in the safety room who have some experience and are good to go. Could you see sliding Ken Robinson back to corner in a more full-time kind of capacity?
It's the great thing about Ken. You can put him wherever you need to. So it's a real added bonus for us, you know. And we don't bail our corners out and cover three just a whole lot. You know, we press. And so you got to have some dog to you to go out there. You got to be a dude. And it's not easy. So if you're scared, don't come play corner at UTSA. You'll be in the wrong spot.
Jeff, we got Pro Day here tomorrow. What are you expecting?
I'm really proud of those 11 guys. I mean, they really helped put us on the map. I'm sure most of my guys will be in class and they won't be out here cheering them on. But the ones that are here, it'll be exciting cheering those guys on. They love their teammates and they want to see them do good. And we're excited for them. You know, it's what every kid dreams of. And we can all say that they're all here to get an education and all that kind of good stuff, which they are. There's no doubt that degree is what's most important. But man, you can't take that dream away from a kid. And that's what they all dream of from the time they were little. And I was no different. It took me a little bit. I got off that train a lot quicker than these guys. I realized that I wasn't gonna make it. But you know how it's like when you're little and you're dreaming. So these kids still dreaming. And we want to keep their dreams alive. And we've already shown we got some guys that, you know, how underrated was Tariq Woolen, how underrated was Spencer Burford, how underrated was Chuck. You know, those guys had great careers already. Just if you play in the league 1 year, that's a heck of a career. And they've already got them 1 year in and did really well.
What's any last minute advice you give to these guys as they get ready to go do this tryout in front of the NFL scouts?
Oh, you know, you've been preparing for this your whole life in a way. I hope since they've encountered me that they've really taken on, you know, our culture and just embraced being the very best they can be every day and just stacking those days. And when that day comes, man, don't worry about it. Let it rip. Let it rip. And I hope that's what they take it from me. So I hope they all got smiles on their face, got their scalps back, ready to roll tomorrow, and just go win another day. It's just another day.
What's that moment like for Coach as you get to see, for lack of a better term, your babies go off to be men now?
It's exciting. I'd be lying if I wasn't just telling you that. You're proud, you're nervous, because there's certain times, certain jumps they got to get to, certain standards that they don't even get to those numbers are not even going to be considered. So that's always a little nerve-wracking. I try not to talk to them about it too much, but I can remember since Sears deals, he had to break the 4.5. That was the big deal. And certain broad jump they wanted to hit, something vertical jump they wanted to hit. The interviews, just all the things that they're worried about. I know what they're worried about because those guys have come and talked to me about it, right? So you just, like a concerned parent, you want your kid to do good, right? So, but yeah, I'm really proud, and a lot of work goes into this. Esteban, those strength guys down there busted their tails, and it's just a lot of work going into all this.
As this, I'm curious, as this transition, Coach, happens to the American, and it's ironic that it was raining today because I had already thought to ask you this yesterday, but as we move forward, do you have everything you need as we move into a new conference?
What do you mean by that question, Vinny? Everything that we need? Would you be a little bit more specific?
Well, do you have everything facilities-wise you need as we move into this next venture?
Obviously, that indoor is something that's not over our heads, but looming over our heads, because you need it. It's college football. So you just hate to get in a bus and go drive to a high school and ask them if you can borrow their indoor. And the Alamo Dome, the turf's not always down. So, they got concerts, they got other things they got going on in there. So obviously, we're all very well aware that's a need. That's not a want, that's a need. So as far as to answer your question, that's something that's where we got to get knocked out. And obviously it's hadn't been of good fortune for us just because of the way the prices have gone up. So now what was a figure that was already unobtainable is doubled. So where are we now? So anyway, you control the controllables, and I can't do anything about it. So you put on your rain gear and you go out there and you slop around. And like tomorrow, it's pro day. What are we gonna do if the weather's like this tomorrow? What are you gonna do? You're gonna call up Northside and Stan Lang, see if they'll let us borrow some facilities. Those are the kind of things we got to get knocked off. And it's so I've answered your question. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, just answering your question.
But even before that, right, you would need lights at your outdoor facility, which you don't have.
That is correct. We don't have lights. I know that Dr. Campos has got that, on her radar. And there's just so many needs right now. There's a lot of needs. Pat needs stuff on the baseball field. And Karen and Steve need stuff down in the gym. And Carol needs stuff down in the gym. There's just a lot of needs. Soccer, they're trying to get their stuff built. We're an up-and-coming program going to a league where no one's going to care. No one's going to stand up in the stands and hold up a sign that says, "Poor Jeff, they don't have an indoor. They didn't get to practice very well today." They're going to be booing me, and instead of me being the Grand Marshal for the Battle of Flowers parade, they'll be having a parade for me and Care Bear to exit the city as they're moving us out of town. That's the way this business rolls, right? So that's why I'm so aggressive on the front end, because I know what that's going to be on the back end if we don't keep pumping out wins regularly around here. I didn't become the Grand Marshal because they like me. It's those 23 wins they like, right? So I've never confused that. I understand it. I try to be a good guy because the Lord commands us to be a good guy. You just don't get many brownie points anymore for being a good fella. You better win some ball games.
But you've made the pitch, right, to us many times, and so the pitch is, the city and the community and the alumni base, they've got to step up.
Well, we just got to decide what we want to do. What do we want to do? Do we just want to be a stepping stone? Do we just want to be a minor league? Is it just okay? Is that just okay? I just don't see that city this way. I don't see this university that way. I don't see myself that way. I know we can do it. It's just we need a miracle. We need a miracle out there somewhere. It's going to be fundraising. It's going to be fundraising. At the end of the day, I've never made any bones about it. It's money. And a lot of people just talk around it. I just come right out and say it. It's dinero. We need mucho dinero.
Jeff, kind of along those lines, I was reading a story that I guess Lisa said in an article you guys are close with your staff. Have you guys added some more staff from last year, or are the salaries getting closer to where you want? What can you tell us about that?
Closer again to what, right? When we got to Conference USA, we had to make some strides to get caught up.
Yeah.
We did that, and honestly, let's be honest, we left that thing in a cloud of dust, right? I mean, you don't win all those games in 3 years without having a tremendous commitment from administration and a university, a city. Well, now we're going to a new league, and I love the compliment that President Amy gives us that, we're doing more with less. That's just not sustainable. That's not a sustainable recipe when everybody is just clawing right now to get there. So we did add a nutritionist. It's for the entire department, right? It's not just for football. It's for the entire department. If you want to play real ball, you have a nutritionist for your team, not for the entire department. So we're getting closer, but we're not there. We added an academic person, right? That's got to be taken care of. APR, they're still keeping APR. I don't know how in the heck they're going to figure it all out with all these kids transferring, but they're holding us to that APR standard. Well, guess what? No one's going to stand up and hold a sign if my APR is bad. Oh, poor Jeff, transfer portal. They're going to say, oh, he didn't care about academics. All he cared about was winning ball games. So we got to get academics there, right? As far as staff in football, we have 10 on-field coaches like everybody else in the country. We have 4 GAs now, like everybody else in the country. And now we have, each coach has an analyst, right? So me and the 10. So we've got 11. Each person needs a helper. So where we need to go from there, all right, it's the recruiting department. We've got to get 4 people that's all they do. That's it. They handle the evaluations. They handle the communication, the actual recruiting part. They handle the off-field recruiting. They handle the on-campus, right? That's a lot of stuff that we had to get to. Each coach needs an intern. Each coach needs a recruiting intern. So these are all things that Dr. Compost and I have met, and if you look, and she's the best at this now. She's gonna show me where I was, and where we want to get to, and where we are. And she's exactly right. We have chipped away, and we have chipped away, and we've chipped away. It's just got to go faster, or we're going to get past. So that's where we have like strength staff. We got to get to 5. We were at 2, and then 3, and now 4, but we're still not to 5. And when you go play SMU and Memphis and East Carolina and Tulane, they got all that stuff. As far as your coaching salary question, if we just want to be a coordinator pumping out machines, just keep losing all of our coordinators every year, that's not sustainable. We just cannot keep winning at the pace we're going and keep losing this many coaches. So we got to get a tremendous bump there. And again, to her credit, where we were to where we are is astronomical in 3 years. If we were still in Conference USA, I wouldn't be up here, and y'all probably wouldn't even be asking those questions y'all are asking right now. But y'all are wise enough to know what we're going into. And it's going to be a daunting task to continue to do more, with less.
I just want to make sure, and just so it's 2 spots additions from last year, or some of that support staff was added from last year?
No, the only thing we've added this year, and we haven't even hired them yet, is a nutritionist that I'm actually interviewing somebody today for, an academic person, which we're adding today, and we've added, like, even everybody's raving about the general manager position. There was no extra dollars there, 0 extra dollars. It was the exact dollars we spent with Kevin Brown and Andrew Acosta. We just spent it with Mike Giglio and Andrew Acosta. We added no positions there.
I think we're going to talk to Kavorian here. What's I know he's limited in spring, but what's kind of, how has you seen him grow since he had a breakout year last year for you guys? And what's it like in that running back room with him kind of leading the way?
Well, first and foremost, he's a great human being. He's raised by great parents. He's from Beast, Texas, right? So he's already just a good human. He got here injured. You know, he can really run. He's always been fast. His body's really gotten thicker. He's taking care of his body a lot more, just growing up and mature. He had the success from last year, which is going to give him tremendous confidence going into next season. We've really added some depth in that running room. Coach Griffin did a fantastic job of adding to that room some really good people and backs. So he'll be the leader of that group, and he's a good young man. I'm proud of him, and we're lucky to have Kavorian.
All right, Jeff, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.